Folks, when I go to the Bumble King forums, even though I can't officially sign in or sign up, if you will, when I go there, sometimes the questions and topics are very similar to what I see at other forums. But one topic got my attention. You see, one of the things we've learned about with this new soft retcon reboot, if you will, is that none of the Sega characters can romantically hook up with people. Although Sonic Boom, separate portion of the franchise, is proven otherwise, even if they're just one-time deals. Now, with that said, you see the you see the title down below. A BK user asked, "Who would you like to see Sally hook up with?" Or basically, who would you like to see Sally with in the comics? Now, a majority of some of the replies so far. This topic has spanned 8 pages over there so far. You know, currently as you watch this, and some of the replies, well, might be a little risky for the comic. But then on the other hand, some of the replies are exactly how I see it. You know, people ask who would they want to see Sally hook up with or be with, and I think it's obvious that, in a sense, may not be in your face, may not be like, you know, like I say, may not be in your face, talked about and all that in the comics, but I think it's safe to say that on some level, she's still with Sonic. I, I firmly believe that. Now I know Ian Flynn will come out probably on that topic and say probably give his own 2 cents, and maybe even try to dismiss the fact that her and Sonic are together, and that's fine, and that's okay. That's his forums. He can say what he wants. But the thing is, I think he'll realize that even if he comes out and says that, fans are going to still look at it from that standpoint. Because unless you have unless Ian has some kind of story that focuses in on Sally probably hinting that she's with somebody, but we don't know who, only then can we dismiss the whole Sonic Sally deal. But when one thinks about it, I think it's more of a silent knowledge that they're still together. It's more like what they call a silent ship. Like it's there, it's just not in your face. It's just not loud up in your face, shouting, "Hey, we're together! Wee! Look at us!" It's not that way. So I look at it more along the lines of being a silent ship. I really do. I look at it along more of those lines. And I think we got to look at it this way. A couple of years have passed since the retcon reboot has occurred. What are we getting at now? What, 278? And the retcon reboot happened in 225? Not 225, but 252? In 252, so when you think about it, it's been 25 issues ago. That's been 2 years now. 2 years, going on 2 years, 2 months. So I think plenty of time has passed to the point that you can kind of slowly hint at maybe doing some romantic subplotting. It doesn't have to be, in your face or anything, but do some kind of romantic subplotting. Like I pointed out when I reviewed 277, there was that one panel that almost made it look like the now teenaged Loop was kind of flirting maybe with Sonic. So I think the time has come to where maybe we're going to slowly start to see more flirting from characters, more teasing, whatever, because I think enough time has passed. And I also believe Ian Flynn when he sees something like Sonic Boom and see what they do there, especially with the cartoon, I think he kind of realized that maybe Sega's starting to kind of mellow out, maybe. Because if they are going to stay true to the word by apologizing for their actions and try to make things better, game-wise and overall, I think they're going to start. I think, in a sense, maybe they're starting to mellow out and realize, you know what, these game characters have become more than what they are, and perhaps we do have to let them have a little bit of romance in their life. Because there are a lot of franchises that do that. Sly Cooper, basically, the franchise that's been going on for years, is going to get a movie, and it's pretty much indicated that him and Carmelita have a thing for each other. I think it's obvious. I don't think it's anything silent. I don't think it's anything like that. It's very obvious they have a thing for each other. But with that said, Ed, they do hook up. It's kind of an on and off deal with them. But again, to me, that's how I kind of look at Sonic and Sally, but from a silent perspective. If you catch my drift, it's silent. It's just not in your face. It's like certain words will have a silent vowel in them. It's like it's there, but you just don't hear it. You don't pronounce it. So that's how I look at Sonic and Sally's relationship. It's more of a very silent one. If you want to look at it from that perspective in the comics right now, it's very, very silent. Now, as far as other pairings would go, one of the biggest pairings, like I said, one of the most talked about ones, people said, hey, I'd have no problem with it whatsoever. I'd have no problem with Sally going with her. And I did say her, and that is Nicole. Now, I know that there are several comics, stories out there, all age, teenage, mature, whatever, that have Sonic and Sally, have Sally and Nicole hooked up together. I know that they are out there. I've heard about them. I've heard about them. People have talked about them. I know they're out there. So it's not surprising that fans would say, hey, put Sally and Nicole together if you have to do something. Now, what I could probably understand is since we're in a time and place right now around the world where pretty much comic books themselves are now having characters come out and say that they're this or they're that, I could kind of see why fans would want to encourage that portion, would want to see that happen. But I think what these fans are forgetting is this is an all ages comic. It's not like a Justice League. It's not like an Avengers. It's not like It's not like any of those comics like Wildstorm, Image, IDW, Marvel, DC that will allow their characters to come out and say that they're this or that. They're not that way. They're an all ages comic, and there's a lot of young kids still to this day that wouldn't understand or comprehend why two female characters are kissing each other or together. Why is this happening? They wouldn't understand that. I mean, yes, it would be very historic. I mean, let's not forget at one point Ken Penders wanted, when he wrote for the comic, Ken Penders wanted Rhoda to come out as gay, but that didn't fly. And if you think that didn't fly, what makes people think hooking Sally and Nicole together as a pairing would fly as well? Even with a lot of what's been going on and stuff in the world, and other comics are doing. What do you think makes that possible? It doesn't. It really doesn't. It's like if you took Betty and Veronica, you have them go on this world trip that they did, have them come back, and it's revealed that they became, lesbians. They became girlfriends. That's not going to happen because it's established that they both have the hots for Archie. The point is, folks, right off the bat, and I'm going to be honest with you, as much as Sally and Nicole might make sense to a lot of people, and even though there's a lot of other comics that are currently doing this kind of stuff, it's not going to happen here. I guarantee you, non-game characters or not, Sega, because they are Sega characters, are not going to want it to happen. End of discussion. I mean, yes, it would be interesting and intriguing to see them take that risk, but I just don't see it happening. I don't see it happening whatsoever. Which is why, again, I think silently you still have a Sonic Sally pairing. It's just very silent. In other words, you know it's there. You know it's been indicated sometimes very silently, Easter egg wise, but you know it's there. You know it's there. So again, the question is, who would I want to see? Honestly, again, I still think she's with Sonic. It's just very silent. It's a very silent deal. If you catch my drift, I don't think she'll be paired with anybody else because who else is out there besides Rotor? And I don't think that would work. I mean, you're not going to go the Tails route, are you? No way. Because honestly, if anybody wants Tails to be hooked up, because honestly, you go to DeviantArt, you go to some other places, there's a lot of fans that want Tails hooked up with Nicole, and that's a fact. I'm not lying. So, anyway, I honestly, what are your thoughts on it? Because to me, silently, I think Sonic and Sally are still together. It's just more not. It's just more Easter egg kind of wise. It's not in your face. It's very Easter egged, if you will, but it's still there. You know it. Well, who do you think? But what do you think of this question? And what are your thoughts on it? Let me know down below, and I'll talk to y'all later.